My name is Joy Simpson, and I am a Vice President and Producer of Commercial Lines at Higginbotham, and my specialization is in fine arts and special collections. As with many people, I sort of accidentally tripped into insurance. I started working at Higginbotham about 14 years ago, and I worked in our small business department and kind of worked my way through school while I was working there. And eventually, once I had finished my degree, I decided that I wanted to stay in insurance but specialize in the fine arts arena. First of all, I loved working for Higginbotham in particular. I found insurance very interesting from sort of an analytical standpoint. And then on top of that, I found that there was really no one that actually specialized in this space. A few people dabbled, but people didn't really know a lot about it. There was definitely no one at Higginbotham that specialized. And it's a real passion for me. And so I get to do a lot of really interesting things for my job. I get to go to museum conventions, I get to talk to artists, I go to gallery openings, and it's all part of my job, and it's very, very satisfying. Some examples of some of the organizations that I work with are fine art museums, historical museums, and also historic sites. So museums and historical institutions and historic sites and children's museums have lots of very unique exposures. First of all, many of them have very unique collections that are both expensive and rare and often irreplaceable. So the insurance around those types of risks is very specific. Additionally, they tend to work a lot with the public, have a lot of children's programming. It's important to insure around those exposures as well. So some of the specific things that are really important to insure in a museum are things like directors and officers liability. Most museums have boards with different members of the community on them. And so it's very important to those board members to make sure that their directors and officers liability exposure is covered by the museum and that it's covered properly. So that takes a lot of work and a lot of technical expertise to understand that. Additionally, there's a lot of confusion around insurance for collections because the general thought is that if you have a priceless and irreplaceable work of art and it's destroyed, why would you insure that? You can't replace it. But it really is an asset, especially to nonprofit organizations. If something important to the collection that's a real draw to the community is damaged or lost, that can be a real hit to the museum's bottom line. So it's important to have insurance to cover that type of loss. One reason why Higginbotham is an excellent choice for museums and historic sites and other types of cultural institutions is that we have a real depth of understanding in this space. We've worked with a lot of different types of museums and organizations. We also have great relationships with our carrier partners that work in this space, and we have a lot of leverage to negotiate with them.